Hello, friends. Today we shall discuss a few very important elements of English, of the English language. And without this, it is very difficult for you to write English or to speak English correctly. There are people who speak English irrespective of prepositions, and their English is always given the thumbs down. But we don't want to speak that sort of English. We want to speak English that is internationally standard, internationally accepted. Okay, so for that reason only, it is very important for us to learn these few elements. And I shall advise you, my dear students, to pay more attention to certain chapters of the English grammar than the other chapters. And those chapters which are of paramount importance are prepositions, articles, subject verb agreement. And I'm sure you know this, but still, it is my duty to remind you of remind you to study these few chapters with a little more serious attention than the other subjects, other parts of the English grammar. Well, now then, before we start our today's lesson, I would like to tell you to watch this video full screen. Why I'm asking you to watch this video full screen? Because if you do not watch it full screen, then you will not be able to make out what is written on this whiteboard. And if you do not understand what is written on the whiteboard, only you listen to what I'm saying, I think that this lesson will not be so very effective. So please do watch this video full screen with full attention as well. A few words are there first. These words, you can read these words, I hope. So these words are always followed by at, at, not in. But in India, most students have the habit of translating Bengali sentences or Hindi sentences or the Indian language sentences into English, and therefore they make this mistake. Instead of at, they use the preposition in, which is a gross error. Okay? Especially those of you who are seriously preparing for the competitive examinations in order to get a good job, get a government job. You need to know this, otherwise it will be difficult for you to score well in the examination, especially the English segment of the examinations. Good, bad, brilliant, better, hopeless. These words must be taken into consideration now, etc. And the words of this type, these words and their likes, that's why etc., etc. is written, followed by at. Get it into your mind. Never use in after these words. Plus subject or a verb, a noun or verb plus ing, there may be also, that may be a gerundal noun, so you may use that gerund as well after at. Look at the example sentences. I'm very good at repairing things. Here you see repair, ing added, so it has become a gerund. So, good at repairing things. Do not say good in repairing things. Do not say that my brother is very good in English. It's not accepted. Though somewhere you will see this sort of construction, do not be confused as to whether you should use in or at. I shall tell you to use at because that is standard. Okay? Somewhere you may come across an expression such as good in. But I think it is better for us to ignore that sort of erroneous sentences. Not good in repairing things. So, if you say, I'm good in repairing things, you are wrong. Absolutely wrong. So you say, I'm good at plus noun, any noun you want. Here, repairing the word is written. That does not necessarily mean you have to always use this sort of a word. You may use any word for that matter, but that should be a noun. Next, some new players are hopeless at cricket. Cricket is a noun. Hopeless is an adjective. Between hopeless and cricket, there is the preposition at, at. Do not say good in cricket or good in soccer or football, good in football. Wrong, good at football or hopeless at cricket, hopeless at football. So hopeless is followed by at plus a noun. Next, Jack is brilliant at the modern vocabulary. Modern vocabulary. It's a noun phrase, the modern vocabulary. What is a phrase? We discussed what a phrase is or what a clause is in one of our videos, and those videos are also on this channel. So you may see our earlier uploaded videos. So I'm brilliant at the modern vocabulary. You may say this, or you may say that I'm not so good at the modern vocabulary. I use the old vocabulary. So anywhere, whenever you use a noun or a noun phrase after brilliant, hopeless, good, bad, do not forget this. You have to use at, at. Now, etc. written here, etc. There are more words. One of the words right at this moment I remember is weak. W-E-A-K, weak. Now, there is a little difference in the use of weak. What is the difference? Now, he is weak in English. He is weak in French. When you use a language after weak plus the preposition, there you are at liberty to use the preposition in. He is weak in mathematics. I'm sorry, he is weak in English. He is weak in French. One of my foreign friends is very good at Bengali, can speak Bengali. Now, brilliant, hopeless, good, these words are invariably followed by at. But in case of weak, you may use in or at, either in or at. So if you say for example, you are using a subject after weak, then what should be the preposition? Better to use at. For example, he is weak at the English grammar. He is weak at the English grammar. That's the subject. That's not a language only. Therefore, weak at. All right. Number 2, different. The word is different. Now, what is different followed by? Sometimes there is some confusion when we speak English, or especially the Indian students translate Indian sentences into English. They face this problem. They get a little confused as to which preposition should be used after different. So here it is necessary for us to know categorically that after different, we may use the preposition from, F-R-O-M, from, different from, or different to, either from or to. There is no harm. You may use this. You may use different from, you may use different to. There will be no mistake there. Let us cast a glance at the example sentence. The film was different from what I had expected. The film was different, preposition from what I had expected. I had expected the film to be something, but when I went to the cinema hall, movie theater, to watch this movie, I saw that the film was different from what I had expected. Now, instead of from, you may use to, to. Just replace this from with to. The film was different to what I had expected. There is no mistake in that sentence. So you are at liberty to use either. Next, see, we may also use different than. This is a bit unusual. Why? Because in India, we generally know that than is used only when there is a comparative word, like more or better, worse, something of that sort. But here, this is the exception. Here you see different than. This preposition than is often used after different, but not in formal English. When you are writing a formal letter, an official letter, you must not use different than. Or when you are writing something for some formal purposes, better to avoid than. Then you should use different from or different to. But in spoken English, in informal contexts, you may, and your sentence is obviously correct. There is no mistake in the sentence if you say that the film was different than what I had expected. There is no problem at all. Yes, I assure you, my dear friends. English people, especially the American people, often use this expression, different than, when they speak English. But when they write English, I don't think they will be using than after different. For example, his present batting technique is different than what he adopted earlier. He had a different batting technique earlier. Now he bats in a completely different manner. So, his present batting technique is different than. Now, if you use to or from, your sentence will be correct. But different than is used only in informal English. It is categorically written here, you see, in informal English. I shall expect you to note down these, what is written, all these what are written on the whiteboard. Why? Otherwise, you have to repeatedly, if you forget, you have to repeatedly watch this video. Though that will be good for us. Why? Because our views will increase then. But I shall not, of course, ask you to do that. That will be a little troublesome for you to refer to this video from time to time. So it is better for you to note down what is written in your exercise book, so that at a glance you can understand, you can remember, or you can refresh your memory. Let's move on to the next one. The word is keen, K-E-E-N, keen. Keen means interested. Keen has different shades of meaning, but here we are using keen, the word keen, in the sense of interested. Now you know, interested is always followed by in. I'm interested in something. I'm interested in doing something. I'm interested in English. Are you interested in French? Yes. So interested in. But in case of keen, the meaning is the same. Keen is also being used in place of interest, and the preposition gets changed. After keen, we use on. Keen on means interested in. So I'm interested in English. Now replace interested with keen. I'm keen. The preposition that is there with interested, that is in, also gets changed. Then it becomes on. I'm keen on English. Okay? There is an example sentence. Let us just see this example sentence in order to consolidate our knowledge. They stayed at home because their daughter was not keen on attending the wedding party. There is a wedding party. You are planning to go to attend the wedding party, but unfortunately, your brother or your sister or maybe your child is not much interested in attending the wedding party. So, what should you do then? You should stay back, or you will choose to stay back. So that's why it is written here. They stayed at home because their daughter was not, we are not using interested in place of interested in, we are using this phrase, keen on attending the wedding party. So here you see the preposition, they stayed at home. You may feel a little uncomfortable about the use of this preposition at before home. Look, at home itself is a phrase. Okay, now if you want, you may use a home just after stayed without any preposition, because the word home is also used as an adverb. So they stayed home. At not necessary. But if you want, you may use at, that will be also correct. Like you have gone to somebody's house, going there, you are knocking, and you are asking, anybody home? Anybody home means anybody at home? Anybody home? All right. Let's move on to the next one. Dependent. This word is very common, dependent. Then dependent is followed by on. Almost everybody knows that. So I don't have anything to say about different on, because it is well known. Since your childhood, you have been using this preposition only after the dependent. But the opposite of dependent is independent. Here is the problem. Why? Because you cannot use the same preposition when you are using the antonym of dependent. The antonym means the opposite word. Antonym of dependent is independent, and you know dependent on. So very naturally, your earlier knowledge may prompt you to say indifferent on. That will be incorrect. Indifferent is followed by of. We generally do not say he is independent of his father. We do not say. So when we use the opposite one of dependent, then we generally say not dependent. He is dependent on his father, but his elder brother is not dependent on his father. So there we say not dependent. But independent is also used in a different context, and then the preposition is always of. Let us cast a glance at these example sentences. No woman should be quite dependent on her husband in modern times. Now in the modern times, in this modern era, no woman should be quite dependent, financially dependent on her husband. So dependent is followed by on. And you know that, so it's useless to dwell on that phrase for a long time. Let's move on to the next one, next example. That is important. Independent of the weather condition, he goes to his office every day. He goes to his office every day. Whether it is raining or it is very chilly outside, very cold outside, or it is whether it is a scorcher. A scorcher means a very hot day. It's a very hot day. He goes to his office every day, independent of the weather condition. They are in that sense, they are in that context, this phrase independent of is used. Let's move on to the next one, and that is the last one for this lesson, for this session. The words are talk and speak. I think there is hardly anybody in our country who doesn't know the meaning of these two words. These two words are well known to everybody. Talk and speak. Sorry. Now what matters is the preposition. Sometimes we get a little confused whether we should say talk to or talk with, speak with, or speak to. For that reason only, I have written these words on the whiteboard to bring to your knowledge that after talk and speak, we generally use the preposition in. To. Speak to or talk to somebody. Okay? With is also possible, but less usual. Now you may feel that if you by chance use the preposition with, will you be wrong? No, my dear friends. Don't be nervous about that. You will be equally correct. But people will say it is rather unusual. All right. So let's see the example sentences. Who was that man you were talking to? Who was that man you were talking to? Now, if you use with, it will be correct, not incorrect, but unusual. May I speak to the manager of the hotel? Going to a hotel, you are asking at the reception. May I speak to the manager, please? May I speak to the manager, please? They are very hardly ever people will say, may I may I speak with the manager? No, do not say that. May I speak to the manager? Now I have something to say about this preposition with. Often you will see when we say we talk with somebody, it means a two-way conversation. A two-way conversation. That means I'm speaking, not only I'm talking, but that person is also talking back. And so, in that sense, in that context, we use talk with. But talk to, if you say that, have you talked to your father? That means, have you informed your father of something? But if you say that, have you talked with your father? It may mean whether your father has given his important feedback, or it has been simply a one-way conversation that you have only talked. Now, talk and speak will be followed by in when we use a language. Speak in English or speak in Bengali, speak in Hindi, speak in French, speak in. But we generally do not say he talks in French or he talks in Bengali. We do not say that. So that will have a different meaning indeed. That means, at that time I was talking to that man in English. That means I generally do not speak that language, but it was necessary for me to speak a different language. So I may say, I was at the time you were saying when you came to me to talk to me. Yes, I was busy talking in English to one of my foreign friends. Okay. Now, but if you ask somebody, do you speak English? Do you speak Hindi? Do not say, do you speak in Hindi? Do not say that. Do not ask anybody, do you speak in French? No. You want to know whether the man speaks some other language or not, you may right away, you may ask, do you speak French? Do you speak English? No, I'm sorry, I do not speak French. We generally do not say, I do not speak in French. Speak plus the language. But in case of talk, it is better to use the preposition in. Do not say straight away that do you talk French? Do you talk English? No. There it is better for us to use the preposition in. Do you talk in English? Yeah, I do that from time to time. Why? That means I have some other language to speak. But I speak English or French as well from time to time. So I talk in French as well. In that context, you may use talk plus in, in. So I don't think I have anything more to say about this lesson. Whatever I had to say, I have already said. Now I have to wait for your questions. If you have any question, if you see that there is any gray area here which I have not touched upon, please bring to my notice and through the comment box. I think in one of our upcoming videos, I shall sort out that issue and it will become a little clearer to you. So I'm not going to unnecessarily prolong this video session. It is better for me to call it a day. I think you have enjoyed this video and you have learned something from this video session. If you have learned something from this video session, please give us a like. Or if you don't enjoy, then dislike, very natural. I will not ask you to give me a like in spite of the fact that you have found nothing to learn in this video session. Okay. And those of you who have not yet subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe to this channel. Even if you don't if you don't find much time to watch these videos, from time to time, if you watch some of our videos on this channel, I shall expect you to subscribe to this channel. And also, if you have anything in particular to in respect of in connection with English, so I shall ask you to write down in the comment box so that we can take up that particular problem and discuss that one in one of our next or upcoming videos. Okay? Thank you very much. See you again in the next session. Bye-bye.